What's going on, guys? It's Roy here with DIY Nation. Today we're working on a Honda Civic, like always, a new Honda Civic, a 98. This one's got two purple doors, one purple door, and two black doors. So what we're going to do today is, over the course of a couple of days, maybe 2 or 3, get these doors matching the rest of the car. We're also going to be painting a back bumper. That's not brought to us yet, but we'll figure that out whenever we get to that point. So what we're going to start doing here is removing the trim. Like always, I'm not going to show me removing the trim because of the fact that every car has a different trim. If you're interested, this one has just a little bubble clip things here, and you just peel it right off of that little clip. The rest of it is just right off. It's just the bottom part that's actually held on by mostly those little annoying clips. And once you get this little band off here, we're going to be taking the door off because of the fact that once you have the little weather strip off, it's still going to be, and this guide tool is still going to be in the way. So we're going to get done with that, and then I'll bring you guys back. Alright, now that we've got the doors taken apart and disassembled, we're going to hit them with some soap and water here and red Scotch-Brite. That's just to loosen up all the dirt and get all that grime out of the way. So spray it down and then hit it with your Scotch-Brite and get it sort of cleaned up. And that's just the initial scuffing, kind of. We're still going to go over it with some 600 grit after that, and then a final go around with some gray Scotch-Brite pad. Start with the red, then work up to the gray. So that's how we're going to get this going. We're going to do the back side first, and then tomorrow we'll paint the inside. I'm sorry, we're going to do the inside first, and tomorrow we'll paint the outside. Alright, now that I got it sanded with red Scotch-Brite on all the surfaces, I'm following it up with a 600 grit wet or dry. I'm going to use it wet sandpaper. The reason I'm going with wet is because at the same time as I'm sanding, I want everything to be really level. I don't want any dust because I'm not wearing a mask, like always. But since I'm not wearing a mask, I want to do some wet sanding because if I'm dry sanding, dust in the air, not good for my lungs. And my preference is not to wear a mask, but I will wear a mask, especially if painting and especially if I'm sanding, because my sinuses are not cooperative with most dust particles or whatever. So I'm going to do that. This panel was really dirty, so what I did is hit it with the red Scotch-Brite and then sprayed the entire thing down with alcohol and then washed, I guess not washed, but picked all the dirt and stuff up with some Scotch-Brite towels, the blue kind that I'm always using. So I'm going to use this orbital sander and the 600 to sand the entire panel down. Alright, so now we got everything hanging on this little rig that I got going on here, and it's all sanded down and it's taped off, and it's ready to paint, almost, because we gotta, wipe it down with degreaser. You want to use Prep-Sol, you want to use whatever you want to use. I'm going to use alcohol, like I always do, on some blue rags. Finished off with that gray Scotch-Brite, so the way that I went was red Scotch-Brite with soap and water in a bottle. Cleaned off all the dirt, cleaned off all the grime. Went over that with the towel to, blue Scotch-Brite to clean everything off. After that, hit it with the 600 grit wet with a orbital sander, and then after doing the orbital sander, went with a gray Scotch-Brite and some of that scuffing paste that I have shown you in earlier videos. So now we're gonna wipe it down with alcohol and some and a blue Scotch-Brite, and after that we'll start shooting some paint at it. But before we paint, tack rag it. Remember, always tack rag. Be back when we're at the painting. Now I'm finally at the step where I'm going to be mixing my paint. JB Base Coat for Shopline is actually 50-50 mix, so it's pretty easy. Just 2 parts, one part reducer to 1 part paint. Simple enough. Alright guys, now it's time to put your mask on and get ready to paint. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint this panel to show you guys kind of my little process. All I'm doing is going from left to right or right to left, keeping a even 50-50 pattern. That means like I'm shooting right here, and then my next pattern I'm shooting, I'm going left to right, so I'm shooting this, moving down 50%, starting on the outside where I'm not shooting really the panel yet. So I'm starting here, moving across, 50% down again, move across until you reach the bottom of the panel. Work your way from left to right. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get my mask on and get started. Alright guys, so we got this panel done, almost. Needs clear coat. We got 3 coats of JB base coat, which is shop line. 3 coats. You can see it's pretty well covered. I say pretty well, but it's well covered. So now, next step we're going to go through is clear coat. The clear coat I'm using today is JC620. I lost the label on it because they just come with these cheap little paper labels, but that's what it is. It's JC620, and it gets mixed 4-to-1 with the JH6285. I always use slow urethane reducer. It gives the paint a chance to flow out more. I would not do this on a very cold day because what you can have is sagging because the paint's not drying fast enough, but on a warm day like this, as you can tell, sunny, beautiful day, slow reducer is where it's at. Gives the paint time to flow out, even out, gives you less chance of orange peel. I shoot it at about 42 to 45 psi, and it comes out good. So we're gonna get it done. We're gonna get this thing put back together and out of here. One more job out the way. One more thing to add, guys. If I were to let this dry overnight, the base coat, I would definitely go back and scuff it up with maybe like some 500 grit 500 grit or maybe a gray Scotch-Brite pad, and then tack it down again and definitely degrease it again. But since I'm just letting it dry and it was recently, I'm talking like 30 minutes ago, painted, then I'm good to just go right over it with this. Otherwise, I would definitely rough it up and shoot at it again. The thing I like to do is whenever I'm done painting that base coat color, I start mixing the clear coat, because the variant in the clear coat is that the hardener has to cook, which is the word for it, but that just means it has to sit once it's mixed for about maybe 20-30 minutes so it can the hardener can activate. I know one of my viewers had a problem. He shot that Rust-Oleum mix and he was wondering why it didn't dry glossy. Well, his problem was that he didn't let it sit long enough. So definitely make sure you guys let it sit 30 minutes, 20-30 minutes. On a hot day like this, maybe 20. But either way, just let it sit, shoot you clear, and get it on out. Alright guys, so we're done here after clear coating. As you can see, things came out pretty good. We only got a few bugs. One on this one. I think one on this one. No bugs on this one. One. There that little bastard is. So we're done here. We're gonna put this bitch back together. Get it out of here. Make our money. This is Roy with DIY Nation saying subscribe, comment, thumbs up, and let's get shit done.